Get ready for an unfair advantage over your competition. This is the Sales Edge podcast, where globally recognized sales expert and trainer Joe Peachy helps you sharpen your skills for booking more appointments and closing more deals. And now, here's your host, Joe Peachy.
Well, hey team, this is the Sales Edge. This is Joe Peachy. This is podcast number 42, and we just want to tell you thanks for being part of an ongoing, growing audience. We certainly appreciate it. It's because of you we can continue to go on and hopefully offer you content that's going to help you take what you do to the next level, help you overcome obstacles, challenges, stay focused on the prize, stay moving down the road and get better at what you do, gain an unfair advantage over your competition. You know, The Sales Edge is sponsored by Peachy and Peachy. That's a training, speaking, coaching, consulting company where we specialize in helping our clients gain better clients, more clients, higher revenue producing clients. And so as we move forward today, this is the second part of a two-part series on the power of the dream. I don't think there's anything more important than that. And in our last episode, we talked about the power of the dream and the catalyst that it created, the energy, the focus. Mariah Carey sings the magic, that it creates. But today we're going to take it into another direction. We're going to talk about defining the dream busters. Now, of course, I can't give them all, but I'm going to give some. A couple questions for you. Why do people give up on their dreams? If the dream is so powerful, if the dream is so important, if it's what we live for, why do we quit on it? Dreams have the power to change our lives. Why do we get derailed? Why do we allow this to happen? Today we're going to discuss a few of the dream busters we allow to keep us from that fulfilled life, from a life of significance. We all talk about money. We all use money as a measuring stick. But at the end of the day, I think we all seek for significance, something more important than just a dollar. The dollar is the scorecard. The dollar allows us to do certain things. But at the end of the day, would you do what you do for no pay? Interesting question. So let's talk about some of the dream busters, I call them. Some of the things that happen to us along the way when we capture the dream, when it bites us. We can pretty much count on the busters to come. Here they come. The minute we set our focus on outcomes and dreams, Dawn and I know there's going to be situations, people, internal challenges that are going to work to derail us from accomplishing that. So I want you to just stay with me here on a couple of the things you may be encountering, we all encountering. The number one, not the number one, but number one on our list is the fear of failure. And I did a whole podcast on failure not being a person, but being an event. And I discussed failure. Everyone has a fear of something, but we should face it. Peter Drucker says, in every success story, you find someone who has made a courageous decision. Here's another thing. Peter Azari, I was listening to him yesterday. He's out of South Africa. What a powerful message. The greatest casualty of life is in the land of fear. People die before their physical death. Listen to this now. He says we die inside before our physical death. I once heard a gentleman say, courage is not the absence of fear. You see, courage is being afraid and going anyway and facing that fear. Courage is when the dream is bigger than the fear and you go. I want you to think about some of the things in your life you have been most afraid of. I want you to think about the time you were most afraid of failure, but you chose to go. Yeah, I remember, I'm not very big and not very fast and not very talented. And I went away to college to play football, and I thought I was pretty stinking good, I mean, every high school player, if they decide they want to go to college, they may have been a big fish in a small pond or whatever. And then, I didn't go to a big time school, of course. I went to a small time school. And anyway, I remember the first day we walked into this auditorium, and there were 200 people, 200 guys that wanted to make the team. The scary thing was I was smaller than the running backs, and I was going to be a nose guard. And I was sitting with the other defensive linemen. And I looked around and I said, "You've lost your mind. How are you going to make it?" And I started to think about the dream of being able to call home and say, "I made the cut. I made the team." And then I started to think about that day I would get a chance to go on that field and play. And all of a sudden, all of those fears that were still bubbling up inside of me, they weren't as important, you see, because the dream was more important. And I can tell you that I had a knot in my stomach every day until the final cuts came. I did not want to fail. I wanted to succeed. And the dream certainly was I was able to make the team. I was able to play. So that fear of failure is a real thing. We all have it. But look it in the eye, because you're going to find out that fear is a whole lot of false evidence is appearing real. Let's talk about the next fear, the next challenge, the next obstacle is fear of success. Now, I was shocked by this. I heard a famous guy once say, 90% of the people in our country can handle failure, 10 can handle success. The fear of achievement may be the fear of change. Am I going to have to get out of my comfort zone? Wow. You mean if I succeed, will I have to get out of this comfort zone? New achievement means new challenges, maybe a new environment. Here's some questions people ask themselves when confronting the possibility of realizing that dream. Will I have more responsibility? Will I have to work harder? Yeah. The bigger the prize, the bigger the price. Will there be less leisure time? Yeah, I can guarantee you that if you're going to succeed at a high level, you may be giving up some leisure time. Will I have to become someone else? No. If you're authentic, you can be yourself. But you will have to change the way you think. Can I really deliver? I do believe this is one of the largest obstacles. Do I have what it takes? Can I really deliver? I will never forget our very, 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 very first corporate training. And I sold it off the seat of my pants. And there it was that day, the 2 days of training. We walked in many years ago. And the first day of training is training. But one of the things we specialize in, it's our fastball, our uniqueness is we can get people on the phone in real time making live outbound calls. And driving in there that morning, many years ago, boy, that thing on my left shoulder was saying, "Can you deliver today?" You did all this training yesterday, but today is where the rubber meets the road. Can you really deliver? Are you going to deliver the results the owner of the company wants that you said you could? And I'll tell you what, the doubts were there, and we walked into that room and we executed. And just so you know how it came out, we booked 104 real appointments that day. We only had 7 no's. We absolutely crushed it. And all of a sudden, the fear went away. But I can tell you, I was wondering, Joe Peachy, can you deliver? How about this one? Am I authentic? Am I the same guy behind the stage as I am on the stage, so to speak, in our industry? Am I for real? See, these are the things that hamper the fear of success, gets in the way here. And then a big one. Do I really deserve success? And I'm going to do a podcast on a person, the worthiness of accomplishing success. But this is a real challenge for people. Sometimes they don't feel like they deserve to win. They don't feel like they deserve to have success. Now let's talk about another obstacle for accomplishing the dream. Trying to be perfect. Perfect can be positive. However, part of chasing your dream, sometimes the actions are not perfect. So we can get locked into perfection. We can get ready to get ready. We can believe that it takes a perfect effort to deliver and to gain the dream. Joe and Dawn Peachy are not perfect. In fact, these podcasts are not edited. And there's times I say like the wrong word. I don't cuss. I don't say anything vulgar, but I'll put the wrong word in the wrong place. I invent words. I'm not a perfect person. My intent is right. My desire is right. But if I was trying to be perfect, this would be such a short podcast. But the job gets done, and you get better in the doing. Rennie Brown. I read a lot. I recommend you read. Understanding the difference between healthy striving and performance is critical. Lay down your shield and pick up your life. Research shows, listen to this, that perfectionism, I didn't even know that was a word, perfectionism hampers success. In fact, listen to this, it often creates depression, anxiety, addiction, and paralysis. Trying to be perfect can be a giant hurdle towards your dream. Now let's talk about another one. Here's a giant one that can become a hurdle towards your dream. Poor focus. You know, poor focus can be a major obstacle to achievement of your dreams. And one of the reasons why is when you chase multiple dreams at one time, you can become overwhelmed. I cannot tell you how many friends, clients, associates, people I know self-sabotage because they have multiple dreams going at the same time. They choose not to focus on one, and they try to deliver on all of them. A great general, folks, never takes on too many fronts. You know, I've done some studying in history, and it's really funny when you learn about great generals, and the greatest generals had such a razor focus on accomplishing this. You know, great athletes accomplish this. Great business people accomplish this. I listened to interviews of really wise business people, and it seems like where they made their mark, where they made their initial income that would allow them to diversify was when they won at one thing first. So I recommend that you narrow your focus It'll help you accomplish your dream. Now, another one that can really sabotage your dream is a poor attitude or poor mindset. I'm going to cover that in depth in another podcast. But really, this comes down to stinking thinking, as Zig used to say. Because as a man thinketh, so is he. If your focus, if you're absolutely, and your mindset and your attitude is not positive towards your dream, you're going to get sabotaged along the way. It will happen every time. And the next one, and I believe, and this is a Joeism, and you're probably getting tired of some of the Joeisms out there because I've got a million of them, but I do believe when it all comes down to the people I've studied, a lot of my clients and friends and associates, a lot of people I study, probably one of the major, and I believe the major one, the obstacle that can get in your way the most is your association. Other person's opinion, criticism, and acceptance or not. If you want to fit in, just do nothing. Got it? I mean, if you want to fit into the crowd, if you want to fit in with the herd, just don't do anything. Just stand there and graze. No matter what you do, there's going to be critics. I can tell you there's not a day that goes by that someone doesn't feel like they need to reach out and say, Joe, you know what I would do if I had your business? Now, the nice thing about having my behavior style is I can be polite, I can evaluate what they said, but I don't get pulled from it. Each behavior style is affected differently by criticism, by opinion, and by acceptance. I would say to you, we need to guard against these things. I'm going to expand more on the association factor in another podcast, but I've got a great quote for you. This is from Theodore Roosevelt. It's one of the first quotes I ever read. Vince Lombardi actually read it. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how a strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory or defeat. Boy, that is powerful. That was from Theodore Roosevelt. The name of that is The Man in the Arena. I recommend that you download that, put it somewhere. I recommend that you go out there and strive for your dreams, but know there's obstacles. So here's a couple things as we wrap up. Please send questions in. Joe at PICI. Just email me any questions or call me at 407-947-2590. Let's have a cup of Joe. I'd like to know what questions you might have for us to cover on the air. Also, if there are topics with relationship to growth, productivity, getting better in sales, please send that in. Let us know. We want to be a great resource to you. Take out your phone and text in 55678 and put in the tagline, Sales Edge, one word. Text that. It'll take you to a link. Hit the link. It'll take you to a landing page. And on that landing page, there are some free downloads for you one on LinkedIn, one on sales. If you keep going down, there's also links to our podcast that you can send to your friends, your clients, people you feel this information would have value for. Also, if you could go to the podcast you're on, and if you feel this is of value, like it, share it, but also write in a comment for us. We certainly would appreciate it. This has been episode 42. We're going to continue to pour out content and value to you. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you at episode number 43.
Thanks for listening. New episodes will air each Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star review. The Sales Edge is sponsored by Peachy & Peachy Incorporated, a firm which provides training, consulting, and keynote presentations, empowering corporations and individuals to attract and retain quality clients for higher revenues and growth. Make more money in sales. Speak with Joe in person by calling 407-947-2590 or visit www.peachyandpeachy.com, spelled PICIAND PICI.com.